Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Plat support player. I believe we are mostly looking at Zen and BAP for this one. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that really helps me out and I appreciate it quite a lot. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what the rates look like, see what sort of promos, events we have going on, all that good stuff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, we're going out here. It looks like your support partner is going to be an Anna. So you are mostly going to be thinking less about putting this Harmony Orb on people like your Reinhardt, though starting it here doesn't necessarily bother me, and more about using your Harmony Orb to enable your McCree or your Hanzo here, because Anna is going to have a very easy time healing your Reinhardt. Little less easy time healing the Hog if he goes on flanks, in which case you could consider the Orb. But your Orb is primarily going to get the most value on these two right here when you're not using it to heal back up your Anna. So those should be its default places. But here you are. You are starting with a right-click charge. Fine with me. I don't really like that you peaked this quite as early as you did. So if we go back here, do a quick rewind. We're here. You've got one orb, you've got two orbs, you've really got three orbs as you've exposed yourself here. And I really would prefer that you actually not expose yourself until you have 4 or 5 orbs in most situations. Because I want you to go, you generally don't want to bother charging a right click if it's going to be like a 2 or a 3 orb charge. You want to only invest in that charge if it's going to be a 4 or a 5 orb charge most of the time. Because there's an unwind animation to Zen, there's the magic hands to the Zen when he throws out the right click, and that's taking away from the uptime that you could be putting left click pressure on them and you'd get more damage with total left clicks, etc. So generally you want to be going, hey, I'm not going to peek and open this up, because since you don't want to throw this until you have 4 or 5 orbs, you don't want to expose yourself until you have 4 or 5 orbs, is the same token there. That said, if you're choosing to go, no, I want to leave right now, I want to leave cover right now because I'm trying to use my Reinhardt as cover. My Reinhardt, his body itself is the cover for me to get to the cart. That's good. That's great, in fact, but I'd have actually just preferred that you started charging this right click a moment earlier, if that was the case. No Discord yet disturbs me. And where did our Harmony end up? Our Harmony ended up back on Reinhardt. Don't particularly like that. Anna's okay, especially while Anna's dueling Echo. I don't love that you're charging the right click here, though. So as you look at this, you cycled that Harmony Orb that I don't love. You're charging this right click when there's an Echo, and there's been an Echo available this whole time. So rather than charge right clicks for this Echo, I would prefer you to hit left click, left click, left click, left click to try to actually force out this Echo. Remember, when you're charging the right click, you can't move around your Harmony Orb, you can't move around your Harmony Orb, you can't put your Discord Orb on the Echo, you can't, if you change your mind and wanted to do left clicks, you can't. You've got to either cancel it or you've got to throw it and wait. Like, this isn't great given that you're charging in the open. You're charging these orbs while something can see you and is shooting at you. If you're charging right clicks, it's specifically because you're behind cover and you have your orbs where you want them, or it's because, you think an enemy might walk into it. You're trying to force an elimination. Maybe there's a defensive cooldown, like a Genji deflect, a Zarya bubble, etc. in the way that is going to end that you'll then be able to throw your right click at. Doesn't make sense to be charging a right click right now. Okay, back to our Zen. And you went right back into another right click charge that I'm not in love with. You hear that? That we didn't get the Discord on that Zoom is disappointing. Yeah, we have not had much out in terms of Discords this match, and we're already 22 seconds in. Like, Discord takes you basically no time to apply. Part of what is denying you your Discords is how frequently you're going for the right clicks, and we've talked already through some of the right click versus left click balance. It's not like, oh, you need this many right clicks to this many left clicks. It's not some golden ratio. It's about when it makes sense, and it makes sense to do right clicks when you have cover, when your orbs are out. It doesn't make sense to right click when there's already an enemy on your screen, like that Echo was, like that Doomfist was a moment ago. This time your Discord got removed by the bubble. That's fine. Okay. Got the Discord out, fine. Hopefully we're immediately going to discord that Doomfist. Like, high pressure needs to go on that Doomfist. That Doomfist needs to be discorded. That Doomfist desperately needed to be discorded, and you're just ignoring him. I don't care if it messes up your... I don't care even if it messes up your reload. Like, that Doomfist has to be discorded. Your Reinhardt's in the most aggressive position, so the orb on him is fine. I would prefer that you're not quite so in the open here. Like, you can't change your mind here very well. You could play from here if you want, then you have the cover to use. You could play from here if you want, then you have the cover to use. You can't play from here. It's going to take you more than a second to drift to any of your cover options, and that is just not acceptable. You're not going to check on Hanzo? Okay, so Hanzo just went down. You saw the critical mark, and you didn't even look to see, wait, will I be able to harmony him in a moment? And also, I want you to look over there because you might need to orb the Doomfist to either stop him from coming in or to make it so he is more likely to get punished when he comes in harder on your team. Nope. You need to look. This positioning is garbage. Not okay, and you have no idea. Is there a Doomfist slamming in from here right now? You have no idea. You haven't checked. Is there a Doomfist punch-botting in from over here right now? You have no idea. You haven't checked. And you still don't have cover. Oh, look, you saw the Doomfist. You saw the Doomfist peak, and now you see the Echo, and I'm totally fine with discording the Echo. I would like you to move your orb at this point. Reinhardt is no longer your best choice. I would much prefer that this orb find its way onto your McCree, for example, to better enable him, because, hey, he's fighting an Echo. The Echo might come in. The Doomfist that you just saw might come in. Your McCree would really, really like this Harmony Orb, but it would do him a lot more good than it does your Reinhardt now. Again, when your McCree was all the way back here, and the opponents were all over here, sure, Harmony, you're right, that's fine. But in general, you're looking for this Harmony Orb to live on this squishy hero who 30 health per second matters a lot more to. Especially when you have that Ana. There's the Discord. You're immediately... Wouldn't that pre-healing have been there? A, he could have been capped off. He was missing health from a bit ago, good 20 health. B, he'd have this 30 health per second ticking through on him. He'd almost be at half health before he took more damage. Now he's going to get eliminated. This is orb management. Hey, new to stream, what do you think the mistake most Plat players make, i.e. positioning, awareness, or aim? It's different players are constructed with different levels of issues in different areas. So at Plat, players aren't consistent enough for me to answer that. That's not a great question in general, because it really is a case of, hey, I can tell you big issues that most Plat players have, but some Plat players have cracked aim while having absolutely terrible awareness of where the opponents are, or nothing in a sense of engagement timing, or throw ults regularly into 1v6s, etc. On the other hand, some players really have a good ult timing understanding, really have good engagement timing understanding, but just have nothing in terms of ability to hit any shots, in terms of ability to not tilt their team, in terms of ability to understand how the objective works, and like go, oh, they think that they have to just go to the objective all the time no matter what, and that's how you play defense. Like, players' holes are too inconsistent. You get to certain ranks by bringing enough total value to your team, and you can make that up by having a lot of different combinations of things that you do or don't provide value on, and you can do it in different ways. The biggest counter to Doomfist is shooting him. People just ignore him way too much. People ignore him way too much. People don't realize where he can roll out from. People don't realize that if he's chipped down, he is very unhappy if he gets chipped down before he comes in, and that if he cannot engage from above people, he is going to have a much worse time. So if you can get above where he would like to engage from, he is very unhappy. So Doomfist is annoying, don't get me wrong, but once you know he's on the map, once you start really paying attention to him, you can absolutely play from places, at least right now, that he can't get to you at. You could absolutely have pre-discorded him. You could absolutely pre-harmony orb the targets that he did have access to. You can absolutely poke at him when he does peek, and you can absolutely hard commit to peeling him while your Reinhardt keeps out the front line. Yeah, he's not that scary. If you guys want to know how not scary he is, I'm kidding. But if you guys want to understand him better, you can actually watch the video that I just released that was an analysis of two fights uh, between Revival and American Tornado, where one was running the Doomfist Brawl, the other the May Brawl, and that'll be a good way of understanding how to handle it. Okay. Fine. No orbs out. Discord orb out. Really? No orbs out for all that time? Okay. So like, we wanna have that Harmony orb out too. No reason we can't have that harm. That's so many shots we threw before we put that Harmony orb out. That's so many. Okay. You're just gonna leave now. Am I crazy? Did you have no targets there? It's not better if you didn't have targets there. Yeah, you had a target there. Okay. Yeah, your Harmonies come back. Your Reinhardt's up there. That was a long time. This isn't the best right click in the world. Oh boy! Oh, that hurts a little. No problem, James.
Confidence is a flimsy shield.
Okay, so the Reinhardt, even though he's missing health, is not your default Harmony Orb target. He's not. That Hanzo looks pretty good. Hanzo could have your Harmony Orb right now. You're shifting that Harmony Orb way too much. Just let it be on a squishy.
Experience tranquility.
You could have delayed on this a little.
Step right
Remember, while you're charging this right click in the open where you can see targets, because you didn't have to be charging this right click for the Zarya, you could have shot over at this Doomfist instead. You can't move your orbs around. You don't want to be charging right click most of the time if you have targets visible that you can be sending left clicks at. Now, if you choose to go, I want to charge right clicks and I'm going to do it from behind cover, that I can live with. That's a reasonable trade-off. But just charging right clicks in the open, I can tell you're too locked into right clicks right now. And it's a tough thing to get the balance right on Zen, but I'm going to talk through it a lot in this VOD review and hope that you can get it. I'm more than going to hope you can get it. I'm obviously giving you a pretty specific example. Exactly. Here, you're just sort of throwing this right click off because you realize you would like to move your Harmony Orb right now. Discord. Good. You're going to move this Harmony Orb immediately because you might as well have it out. Put it out immediately and then figure out where it should go. By the way, McCree is where it should go. Okay. Don't just stand still here. There's still heroes over there that could do some damage to you if you just stand still. Okay. Your Harmony Orb's on Reinhardt. He's missing some health. I can live with it. You want to throw that on Hog before he leaves your line of sight? See how your Harmony Orb came back here and you're about to run out of valid targets? Throw it on Hog so that he can have it for 3 seconds after he's left line of sight. Nope. 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 You don't have either of your orbs out. You're not providing value. Your Hog could have another 90 health right now.
Gaze into the iris.
Why? Why are you playing from here, the middle of the lane, where it's going to take you a second to get out of trouble, as opposed to here, where you can hit all the same targets, but a single step, a single float will close the angle and protect you? Why would you be over here? That's silly. Don't do this. This is the second Discord opportunity you've had in the last 2 seconds. Let's see if you take it. Good. Okay. I hope you don't push in too hard to this. Why are you drifting this hard into the fight? Like, you were perfectly fine over here shooting through these cute angles. This was perfectly fine with you. Why are you putting yourself in more risk here? That's unnecessary. Mm-hmm. Heal the Moira. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you don't know that there's a Doomfist in this game at this point. And again, I wanted you a little bit more here, where you're using this cute angle. That doesn't mean he 100% couldn't have gotten you, but like, this isn't really better. Oh well. Who should push card in this comp? At this moment in time, probably Roadhog. Second choice, probably Zen. Yeah. Roadhog or Zen. What's happening right now? Our Zen is getting Doomfisted. But this is the first time, I believe, our Zen's been Doomfisted in this map, so that's not bad for a Zen. Zen's team has been getting Doomfisted reasonably hard, but he's been okay. He just needs better positioning. He needs better orb management. He needs a better understanding of when to right versus left click. He's too hard in the right clicks. Okay. Harmony Orb default is better right now. It's fine. You have a Harmony Orb out. You can throw a Discord on the Echo, or you can do this.
Surrender to my will.
You got that off. I'm not worried. I mean, you shouldn't have been hit by the Fire Strike, but I'm, in general, not worried about the Doomfist getting you there.
Overconfidence is a flimsy shield.
Somebody get the tail.
Okay, that's fine. You have the Harmony on your Kree. I don't really like that you've advanced yet, because if you just appraise yourself of the battle situation a little bit, you're going to quickly realize, wait a second, my McCree is pushing. That might seem like you should push, but really if your McCree is pushing, your Ashe is in spawn, and your Reinhardt is back here relative to you here, it's probably not time to push yet. Against this dangerous bridge, you do want to sort of rotate when your Reinhardt is rotating, and you sort of want to rotate in your Reinhardt's pocket, because it's just such a big open space that they can spam you from here, they can spam you from here, they can spam you from here. You sort of need to use him as cover on your way in. And crossing this bridge and then getting past this high ground is one of the harder points in the game. Okay, let's Discord the Echo. The Echo is the opponent in the most aggressive position, so we want our Discord on her, or we want to look to our right to see if there's a Doomfist up top, because that would be an even more aggressive position. Our Hog is fishing for something. I wonder what's over there. I also would like to move our Harmony Orb to not our Reinhardt, but I'll live. There we go. Play left side of cart. Left side of cart is going to give you the best protection right now. Okay, where are you going to play? Be aware of your Be aware of the Doomfist on the opposing team. Good. That was a good trance. Sounds good, Saint. Yeah, that was a good trance. We'll see if the orb placement gets a little better.
is an excellent teacher. There is disquiet in your soul.
Get in there, bud.
Payload is in my charge. Let us move it.
I don't necessarily, by the way, want you doing this cute little angle like this. The angle itself is fine, but what you run into is if you're doing this, this really becomes you might want to actually charge up a right click and throw it, because charging a right click is what's actually going to get you an elimination, as opposed to this, which is just pressure, and you're sort of falling behind your team as you're applying pressure here, as your team is rotating forward. So this is one of those things where if you're going for this cute little narrow angle, you'd really like to get a pick here, not pressure. So I would be okay with the right click here, but that's okay. We're going to keep going. Good. You know that the Doom's off the board for a moment. You're going to look to get Orbs out. That's your priority right now. You have Orbs out, though not on the best target in the world with your Harmony. Okay. So you're just going to cycle this over to heal your Anna. No problem.
Be one with the universe.
And you're going to then cycle it over to heal your Roadhog.
60 seconds.
Okay.
remaining. The payload has reached.
Well, that's fine. If you just needed maximum damage, your left clicks were right. If you felt like I desperately need trans because otherwise we're going to lose to grab next fight and I'm close, that's fine. But you weren't particularly close. Orb. Gonna get an orb out? No. That's way too long without your Discord orb out.
Darkness falls. Gaze.
I'm being nitpicky. That's okay. You didn't open the angle until you had 4 charged.
Gaze into the iris.
Okay. You're orbing the hog is okay, but I'd be interested in, can we move this orb not to the Reinhardt, but to our McCree? Really, we'd like it on the Ashe, but you're just not in an aggressive enough position to orb Ashe. Like, you can, as your Anna gets closer here on cart, you could now be rotating over here and actually be doing a little more Harmony my Ashe, and then play from here. So Harmony Ashe, play from here, Harmony Ashe, play from here, but that's okay.
Somebody get me some healing.
Why is she getting pressured without help?
What we hope to do.
Your poor Ashe. Okay. Discord? Good.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Reinhardt.
Okay, this is lost. No big deal.
A temporary setback. Embrace tranquility.
Why is the payload stopped? Rocking on. Going free.
Where's your Harmony Orb? Where's your Harmony Orb? Where's your Harmony Orb? Where's your Harmony? So, like, that might seem like, oh, but we were rotating back, we weren't in a fight. It costs you nothing to have your Harmony Orb out. Even if it's on a bad target, have it on someone. Would that have made the difference here? No. No, it would not have. But it's a good habit.
Going free.
Assistance would be appreciated.
Oh, practicing catching fire strikes. Okay. It's fine. Uh-huh. Yeah. It's fine. The Doomfist wasn't relevant. You'd already lost the fight.
Repetition is the path to mastery. Is to move the payload. Get to it. Experience tranquility.
No. You just double defensived, and I'm not remotely convinced that they could have followed up on this grab. Gonna slow this down for illustrative purposes.
Огонь по готов.
Who's following up on this grab? Their Reinhardt has his bubble over here, so he's not going to have bubble to swing into this grab. Their Mercy and Echo are over here. Their Anna's over here. Their Doomfist is here. Like, they'll get some follow-up on this grab, but that's seconds away. They're going to get at least a third of the way through the grab before your team is taking real damage and is in need of a defensive. So you're totally chill right now, and at this moment, it's just hogging the grab. You didn't have to get pulled into this grab. Your BAP might have had less of a choice, but you didn't have to get pulled into this grab. And even if you did, you're just going to chill here for two reasons. A, Lamp is probably going to come out first unless you've seen it used already. B, no one's taking damage yet. You're fine. Even before this trans went off, you can see that they're in rougher shape than you are. Like, they're not particularly happy over there. They just got double flashbanged over there. Maybe McCree's going to pick something up. You can delay this. And delaying it matters because what's going to happen is after this, A, you wasted this lamp effectively, but A, you want to go, hey, I want to use trans when it's actually going to do work. But B, you've got this grab here, and this grab is a thing, and this grab is going to last for a couple seconds, and trans is going to last for 6 seconds, and you want to get as many of those trans seconds as you can after the grab is over. So you're using this trans defensively, but you don't need it defensively yet. And what's going to happen is they're going to push in and try to follow up on this grab, and you want to actually make this grab a trap. You want to go, okay, you guys are coming in, you're doing your work. Okay, I pop the trans before we lose anyone. So yes, I do pop the trans. I do save people's lives with trans. I make sure we don't lose anyone, but I want to get as close sort of to losing someone as I can because that's going to waste more of your grab's time. It's going to draw you guys in closer. And then we're going to have, instead of 1 second after the grab is over of trans failure to push you, we're going to have 4 seconds of trans failure. We're going to get 4 seconds of power play when you're already on top of us. This grab will have lost you the fight. Or put another way, your delayed trans will have won you the fight because you'll be on top of them with 4 seconds of your team being basically invulnerable to chew through these guys. That's what you're looking for. You want to delay it even when it's defensive if you're not in any trouble yet, because then you get to convert more of your defensive ult into an offensive ult. Okay. Usually you'd see lamp used first on ladder. If you're on a team, talk to your team about it. I could get more specific into that, but it really doesn't make sense. Talk to your team about it. Usually the answer, though, would be lamp first.
Adaptive circuits engage. Roadhog.
So just to re-show you this fight. Here's this lamp. Trans get used at the same time. The lamp is now destroyed, so now is when we might want to think about our trans. Unfortunate, might not matter in this case because, hey, there's a nade, and that might still have been a lost fight. But let's pretend for a moment that this nade didn't go off, or that, let's just pretend or that our team had effectively blocked the nade, or anything along those lines. Then we would now have another 2 seconds of trans left. So we wouldn't have been backing up here with our trans. We'd have been up here because we'd know instead of having 1 second of trans left right now, we'd have 3 seconds left. We'd be healing our team, and we'd be like, oh, hey, and our team would happily delete this Zarya, or maybe they'd delete these guys instead. It doesn't really matter, but you see how that works? By the way, in this case, you have trans, you are a race car, you might as well zoom over and join your team. Back is not always safety. Backing up is not always safety. Sometimes your team is safety. Which your team is better safety right now. Even though you don't fully have time to get there with what's left on your trans, it's still better than what you're doing right now. Yeah, you're trying to back up too much. Your team is the better safety.
Adaptive circuits engage. Roadhog. I'm going whole hog.
Adversity is an opportunity.
10 seconds remaining.
Better. Okay. We talked about the trans. We talked about Doomfist awareness. The biggest issue, it got better in the second half, but the biggest issue so far really has been your lack of orb uptime in terms of your Discord orb especially, but your Harmony and your Discord orb aren't out often enough, and your Harmony orb placement really isn't that good. The next biggest issue, again, was particularly bad at the beginning and has gotten better, was the over-reliance on right-clicking, we'll call that. We're going to see if those continue to be what I think are the most important things for you to work on. I'm not sure they will be, because again, the second half of that first round got better, and it could be, if those just aren't issues at all, there'll be some issues, but if those are very minor issues in this next round, something else might be a bigger issue for you to focus on. So we're going to continue and see what we get here.
Ready for battle. Ready for battle.
He should just have me coach them. I mean, that could be fun, Jumbo. That could actually be a fun little thing. Maybe we set up, maybe we go find a Zen to review and we have you review it and I'm there while you review it, and I jump in if you do anything wildly wrong or bring up things you missed, or maybe we have you fully review something on your own and then I review your review. That could be fun.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
I don't particularly like you continuing this with left clicks. I'd actually like you to cycle into another right click here, because they potentially have more power to punch back at you with 6 sets of eyeballs, where it was really mostly you challenging them there. Yes, I know your McCree is challenging them. Yes, I know now your Reinhardt has peaked, but your Reinhardt hadn't peaked yet. So I would have preferred here that you actually right click, go into cover and then right click again, because they weren't in a range where you could get a follow-up Discord off, for example. Yeah, I don't love this. Like, if they're not paying attention, now they're paying attention to you. Close the angle. Something like this was always too likely. You still might get out alive, but something like this was always too likely. You were leaving the angle open for a long, long time with those left clicks. And you had left click spam when the opposing team didn't look adequately distracted to the other sight lines to me. Like, it didn't look like they were going, we're hard paying attention to Kree, we're hard paying attention to this up here, we're hard paying attention to Reinhardt. It looked like a decent number of people were paying attention to you as you were spamming this. So you want to break up that attention by going, I was spamming left clicks, now you're looking at me, there's too many sets of eyeballs on me, so I'm going to go back here and charge my right click, and then I'll peek with 4 or 5 orbs. That would have been my preference here.
Get in there.
You got caught because you got greedy. Like, that's absolutely what happened there.
I need healing.
A temporary setback.
I need heat.
Why did that take so long? There's a bubble, sure. But it's your team's bubble. Why is this Discord taking so long to go out? What?
I need it.
I'm going to slow this down for frames to show you how fast this can be. This is the minimum. It's even a little less than this, but this is about the minimum part of the Harmony Orb application window that you need, and you can be canceling the rest of this animation with your Discord Orb application. You can apply both of these orbs. Pew pew! Pew pew! Wax on, wax on! Like, you can absolutely do that. There's no reason that you shouldn't have the other orb out right now. What, orbs? Excuse me? Orbs? Discord? Discord Orb. And yeah, the Harmony Orb doesn't do anything, but it also doesn't really cost you time. So, like, Orbs, please? Remember, you getting an extra shot off isn't in general, at this moment it is, but in general it's not as valuable as getting an orb out there because orb is 25% increased damage for your whole team. That's way more than you getting one more orb of damage out there. Okay, that's the reset. Yeah, sounds good, Jimbo. We'll schedule one. I think that'd be fun.
No dying on my watch.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Not as good as new.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
Regen burst.
Okay, you've swapped to BAP here, which is fine with me. The Reaper is in. That's unfortunate. You might have to pop the lamp here. Really? Has lamp not been forced yet? Wow. Okay. Now we do it? Oh, interesting. Huh. I feel like you could have justified that lamp a good 2 seconds ago, but that was a tough justification. Jump back up. Jump back up. What are you doing down here? Why are you here? This. Above and behind your team. That's where you want to play as BAP. You're happy to play from here and go, oh yeah, I'll throw right clicks. Left click the shield. Right clicks, left click the shield. Oh, everyone's full? I'll just double, triple tap left clicking the shield. Heard Doom in there and saved it for me. Yeah, I saw that. I just saw also where the Doom went, and the Doom went quite a bit beyond the range of your lamp. Good, we've taken our spot. Anna's down there, so you can trust your tank line. Really not missing the health to justify taking the time to aim down there. Like, don't underestimate BAP's primary fire. You could keep primary firing here. That said, they have bubbles up. If you want to go for this, okay. That soldier's full health.
Fully healed.
That soldier's full health. Yeah. Now you're going to have to shift.
How about a little
Fine. Okay.
Let them up. Let them up.
You went for this window. Yeah, this is balanced enough. Why no weaving here? Why do we hate our Reinhardt? We're looking to go right click, left click. Right click, left click, left click, right click, left click, left click. That's what our weave pattern here should have looked like.
Double kill.
Okay, why do we still hate our Reinhardt?
Regen up.
Okay, I can live with that shift. Oh, that was, no.
Regen up.
You have 10 heal shots and 33 regular shots. Yes, the 3-round burst, so you really don't have 33. This guy can Wraith cancel whenever he wants. Yes, your Brig is right here, but think about how long your reload takes and the movement speed buff that he gets during this Wraith and the fact that he's going to have full ammo when he comes out of this Wraith. He can unwraith on top of you before your reload is done and just 1 or 2 shot you, and you won't even be able to react. I don't care that he's low health. Like, yes, you might go, oh, but it won't matter because he'll get traded out if he does that by my Brig. So, like, why give him the chance? You definitely don't hit this reload. You definitely don't hit this reload. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, then we'll cover weave patterns more, Sanjay. No problem.
Get in here.
No. So you have to decide if this threat warrants both abilities, and I think this level of threat does warrant both abilities. I will live with you throwing out this lamp here. There are enough scary things in your face to warrant the lamp and the shift here, but let's please use it. This is minor. Let's use the lamp first and then the shift. The lamp and then the shift, because I would, your lamp is going to save you even if you guys get knocked down to 40 health. The lamp is going to save you, which is cool, but you would prefer the shift be rolling through sort of after the burst as opposed to during the burst, right? Like, we don't really care. If we get knocked down to 40 health, we're still going to get knocked down to 40 health. Whether we have the hot ticking or not, we would really prefer the hot is ticking a second from now as opposed to now. It's a little hard to explain, but in this situation, it would be lamp then shift, not shift then lamp.
Get in here.
And in these critical situations like that, that's generally going to be your answer.
Listen the immortality.
Okay. Did you have boots charged? But why don't you have boots charged? Okay. Yeah. You wanted to be backing up here. That was right. You did want to hop and get yourself up to here, in which case you might have found a Doomfist, but you did want to hop and get yourself up to here. Remember, your preference is to play above and behind your team. Yeah, similar concept as Transcingulator.
Not my time.
Yeah, we'll find a random Zen Jumbo, and also I will save your review even if it goes to it'd be fine either way because I will redo the review if it's bad. But the truth is, yes, we'll probably just find one and we'll do it as marketing off of Reddit or something. Okay, so there you go. Mm-hmm.
How about a little
Tactical visor activated.
step right?
Unfortunate. You knew that was there too. You don't really want to be down here. You don't. Like, I'm okay that you're like, hey, I would like to heal my McCree for a second, but you really would prefer to be playing from up here. Remember, Doomfist is worse if he can't get above you. Like, Doomfist is noticeably worse if he can't get above you, so this would be good for you. Yeah, that's true. You also don't need to walk closer into this. Like, yeah, your Reinhardt's over there, but you've got plenty of shots from here. You can right-click your McCree, you can left-click Flames over there, you can right-click your Brig and your Zarya, you can left-click the shield. You have plenty that you can do from here. You don't need to get closer to this fight. And then you see that, and you're kind of already doomed. Yep.
Come here and get stabilized.
Maintain that positive attitude. Get in here.
Okay. Good frisbee distance. Those are still purple. Those are still purple. Okay, that right click was timed correctly. So if you want to invest the window here, I can live with that. If you want to invest the window, this fight is close and wild enough that you throw down your window and you go, it gives me a stupid amount of healing to keep everyone up. Totally fine with me. I don't want you getting closer to this fight. I don't. If anything, I'd have liked you hopping up to here for this fight. No. Okay, so here's the reason we haven't covered weave patterns enough. Here's the reason that you want to be above and behind your team fights. If behind is all you can do, so be it, but ideally you want to be above and behind team fights. And what being above and behind team fights does is it helps in a couple ways. A, you have your exo boots. Your exo boots are clearly to take high ground. Nothing weird there. Your right clicks curve downwards. Your right clicks are nades that curve downwards. Okay, that's cool. That makes a lot of sense for healing our Reinhardt down here, our Brig over here. Cool. And then the other thing that we run into is you've probably noticed there's a pretty significant delay in the fire rate between right clicks that BAP sends out. It's right click, right click, right click, right click. It's a pretty significant delay. And that delay is intentionally there because you can fit a left click or more between right clicks. So you can go right click, left click, right click, left click. That's very intentional, but it's kind of hard and it's going to add time to do big flicks. So if you had to go right click, left click, right click, that right click, there might actually be more delay than is the natural delay between firing right clicks, than the programmed, this is the minimum delay. And you don't want that. So if you're above and behind, it puts them closer together on your screen, the targets that you want to be right clicking and the targets that you want to be left clicking, which means you can actually get those weaves off without missing out on potential heals because you're not cutting into when you could have thrown your next heal out. So that's why you want to be above and behind. And the default weave pattern that you should learn should be right click, left click, right click, left click. That should be your default pattern. Once you get better, you'll get to a point where you go, okay, if people are above 70% life, 80% life, I might go right click, left click, because that is actually a little bit more optimized, where it's like, okay, I'm potentially losing a little bit of time maybe on my next right click, but I'm getting more total value. But I don't want to do that when people are at like 50% life. At 50% life, I'd rather go right click, left click. And it's also easier to go right click, left click, so that's what I'm going to learn by default. And when people are really low at like 20% life, you just can't risk delaying, especially when you're learning the next heal on them. So you don't want to take time going and finding that left click flick. So instead of doing that, you'll just go, I am going to just chain right click heals on them, even though I'm wasting uptime until they get up to like 40% health or something. And then I'll go back to my left click, right click pattern. That is how you want to play this Baptiste hero. That is how he is designed to be played. You can see I just talked through a lot of pieces of his kit, and you really see that, oh, the nades curve down. Oh, he has this jump. Oh, there's this long delay between right clicks. That's all so that he can play in these weave patterns. Hope that helps. Okay, back to our BAP.
Let them up.
Do we not care about Brig? We're really close to this fight. Oof. I really hate how close we are to this fight. Yeah, that Doomfist would have had a way harder time getting you if you were up here, because you'll notice he uppercuts you. He can't uppercut you if you're here. Like, he has to uppercut to get to you if you're here. So you get to a situation where he really can't engage on you in the way he would like. He has to, like, uppercut to get to you and then try to punch you, which is way, way less convenient for him. If you're further back, you also have more opportunities to chip him down with your left clicks, all that.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
No, Nordstrom, because he just shouldn't be in the middle of the fight like that. So, like, there's multiple different types of windows, and I'm not going to cover every type of window in this review. It's not going to be helpful for this player. There's multiple types of windows. There is the, let's say his team is here, and the opponent's team is here, and let's pretend the cart isn't in the way, and he throws down the window, and his whole team gets to use the window, and it's tough for the opposing team to push through the window. That could be a good window. But as the team gets close, his tank should actually step in front, and he should start to step back, and then his tanks are in front of the window, so he still gets to heal his tanks through the window. So that's a good thing. If he sends his window too far forward and his tanks are here, his tanks get to use the window, but if his tanks aren't able to get in front of the window or don't choose to get in front of the window, then he doesn't get amplified healing on his tanks. And once the opponents are through the window, that's not particularly good either. Whereas if he does like a personal window back here, he gets amplified damage. The rest of his team does not get amplified damage, but he also gets amplified heal. So he can keep his Reinhardt alive through a ton of stuff going on. Having it here in the middle of the fight is like, yes, his whole team can use it, but it drags him into a situation where, let's pretend that he was back here. He can't reliably heal his Reinhardt through it if it's in the middle of the fight. You sort of see what I'm saying? Okay. That ult would be used for the DPS. Yeah, one more forward like that would be more for the DPS. Nice, Mystery! Congratulations! You're hitting the climb. I don't like that shift. I don't like that shift at all because this soldier is no longer in any danger, and I don't think you're in real danger either. Yes, you're missing a little health, but your Brig can get you capped off, and I would rather she get you capped off. It is cheaper that she spends a repair pack on you, or that she procs Inspire, than it is that you take this 13-second cooldown on your shift right here. We don't want to use our shifts when we don't need to heal ourselves, just to heal one person, especially one other person, or when the fight isn't really happening. You can easily heal this soldier up with right clicks. There's no need, this soldier isn't going to be in any danger of going down. He doesn't need the extra healing of your shift. What? 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 Why? Card's still all the way back here. Checkpoint here. You do not desperately need to be pushing out all hands on deck, supports in front right now. This is a mistake. Why are you so close to this? Why are you actively walking so hard into this fight? And now you'd like to use your shift, but you can't. Why are you in the middle of the sight line? Do you hear the Reaper? You do. How was that reload? You're at 4 ammo, 3 ammo. Okay, and you hit the reload before you heard the Reaper shot? Okay. That's not deep enough. Oh, just barely. Just barely deep enough. Okay. Okay. I'd have still preferred a little deeper to let your Reinhardt have a little more range that he could give, but don't walk into it. Don't you dare. Okay. We would still like to back up. We are perfectly happy to play from back here. We can lob our right clicks. We can shoot at blue targets when they become available. We are farther away from the Doomfist. Still want to be further back. Okay. You don't have lamp. That makes this a little tricky, but you need to play on an edge, a door frame. You know this. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh boy. You hear him, that's fine. So now you're going to throw this final right click and then 180. You're going to 180, fine.
Fully healed.
Good. You're going to work your way back into here, where you have this mini, but you also have opponents and Rhine. So you can be like, okay, right click, left click, right click, left click, right click, left click. This would be a good place for you right now. Hey, Bloom. Okay.
Let them up.
I'm not in love with that, but okay. This Reinhardt can't really back away from this window, and the rest of his team isn't really here yet, so yeah. Don't really feel like you needed that shift, because you didn't.
Felt good when I woke up in the morning. Enemy contact.
Temporal, have you thought about making an aim, movement, mouse sense guide? That's not really for me. I might at some point in the future as more of my students need mechanical help, but I've found that that's not really my niche. I can do it. I can help people with mechanics. You guys see me break into it sometimes. You can see me talk about I do prefer lower sensitivities to higher sensitivities. I do prefer giant mouse pads. I can make mouse pad recommendations. I suppose I could set up like an affiliate link on mouse pad recommendations and mouse recommendations. But like, I don't think that's where I want to go yet. I think I have more for now to offer you guys in this, how to actually get the most out of your gameplay, your abilities, your game sense, your target prioritization, all that. Sky Moses. Okay.
Healed.
Okay.
Tactical.
Back up. Back up. Your team's not going to push harder into that. Your team is not going to push harder into that. Back up. Remember, you don't need to be dragged into these fights. You're playing too close.
Almost ready.
Beacon up.
Yeah, you should not regularly be playing so close that your shift is actually useful to your team, believe it or not. There's times when you have to rotate with your team. There's times when your team rotates back into you.
Let them up.
What? 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 You can't think that's right.
Let them up.
Your Reinhardt is back here. Your McCree is back here. Your Soldier's back here. Your Zarya's up here. Why? You're the most in front person in your line, and you decide to commit lamp? Is this on comms? Like, it can't be on comms, because if it was on comms, you'd be doing a Reinhardt fire strike through the window type thing, and that's not what's going on here.
Enemy contact.
I promise that wasn't how you want to use window.
Just a hum.
60 seconds remaining.
This was a bait. Okay, but like, ugh. Okay, so were you on comms, and did you specifically plan your Reinhardt was going to push into him as they pushed you? Because I'd be worried about you getting poked down. Let's take a look.
Let them up.
So you hit this. Your Reinhardt does not have Shatter. You're trying to bait the Shatter. And you're trying... Oh, because you were trying to get technical and block the Shatter with your lamp, which you didn't. And then you felt your team would be able to eliminate their Reinhardt. Okay. It's fine.
Enemy contact.
Even if I don't love the plan. If it was a plan, we'll live. If the team was on the same page, we'll live.
Just a hum.
60 seconds remaining.
Ready to rally. Rally to me.
Beacon up.
Shield taken down.
You knew you'd lose if they hit the Shatter. Well, okay, but like, you can just play further back and be able to lamp the Shatter and put a ton of pressure on their Reinhardt when he tries to follow up on his Shatter. Or you can personal window when he shatters from back here and be like, I am going to heal them through infinity damage. Not actually infinity damage, but a lot of damage if you shatter them.
30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Fire at will.
Get in here.
That's fine.
Immortality field down. Watch yourself.
You don't need to be this close. You still don't need to be this close. You still don't need to be this close.
I am on fire.
10 seconds remaining.
Will not we target me? Barrier activate. I have found the enemy.
Agony for the
Overtime.
The music confused
How about
itself.
a little extra healing?
You walked into this, you didn't have to. You're just playing so close.
Got you good. Let them up.
Good. This is jump time. Okay. There's obviously tons of weaving you could be doing here. Okay, so here's how this is going to work. We did BAP and Zen here. The two things that I am going to leave you with on Zen are what I thought I was going to leave you with because we didn't get to really see a ton more Zen, which is I want you to do a better job of making sure that your orbs are actually out. You're too slow to get your Discord and Harmony orbs out and to move them to the proper targets. There's just too much time, and it might not feel like much, but it really does add up in terms of team value. You might not feel it, but your team will absolutely feel the value of you prioritizing getting those orbs out faster. It's really important. And it's not hard. Even if you put them on the wrong target, I'd rather you send them out on the wrong target and then spend a moment to get them on a different target. Even when you're walking back from spawn, throw the Harmony Orb on someone and then move it to a real target once you're back to the fight, etc. That is going to add up, I promise, and it's a very easy change to make. You can just be slamming the buttons. You really can. It costs you like nothing. The next thing I'm going to say was I could talk about the trans. I kind of want to talk about the trans, but I am instead going to talk about the right versus left click discipline. Too much right clicking in the first part of the match, and then too much left clicking in the later part of the match on your Zen there. And it's not a too much, it's that you seem to be mentally in one mode or the other mode, and there's actually rules around when you do it. And I think I've laid out those rules pretty well. I think you got them. I think you mostly have them, but it is, hey, you can't move your orbs when you're charging a right click, but you do want to right click into chokes. You want to right click when you're fishing for eliminations, etc. But after you've thrown out a right click, you should be thinking, are both of my orbs out? Are they where I want them? Yes. Okay, maybe I go into another right click. If they're not, I should probably be in left click mode. But you also shouldn't just left click down a lane forever as teams get closer and closer, especially if opponents are paying attention to you. As you draw aggro, as you draw attention, you A, might want to move, but B, you can think about, I'm going to go bind cover, charge it up again, and throw it back out. And then for BAP, you need to learn weaving, but for you to learn weaving, or what will help you learn weaving, is first focusing on working on staying further away from fights. Above and behind fights is your ideal positioning. Sometimes you're only going to be able to be behind fights, and that's okay. Sometimes you're going to have to change your angle, and it's going to be like a 90-degree turn, and you're only helping your team, not helping offensively. That's not great for BAP. That's better for like an Ana. That's not great for BAP, but sometimes that's the best you get. But your default, what you're looking for, is above and behind your team to take the most advantage of your kit, which will then lead to you being able to do weaving. So I don't want you to try to implement all these things I just went over at once. I want you to pick one and work on it one at a time for like 5 games, 10 games, 15 games, whatever it takes to sort of implement it into your autopilot. But I want you to be using like 5 to 15% of your brain power to work on that topic while you're trying to get that new thing into your autopilot, into how you play the game. You're going to get a little worse as you're focusing on the new thing, and then you'll start to get better. But before you get back to your new point, you'll go, I think I've got this locked in, and you'll start working on the new thing, and you'll get a little worse, and then you'll get better. And then after you've stacked like 3 new good habits, and they're part of your default how you play the game, you'll, without even realizing it, be like, oh, I'm better than when I started. That's how you actually get better at this game. So that's what I want you to do. Try to implement these one at a time. Really focus on the thing one at a time. And if when you move on from the first thing, it starts to get worse, let go of the second thing and go back and keep working on the first thing until it really does stick, and then move on to the next thing. Because we actually want to implement it into your autopilot, we'll call it. Okay, if you have questions, throw them in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe. That helps me out quite a bit. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see all that good stuff. Speaking of in the Discord, right now we do have a event that we are planning, internal scrims. Those were a ton of fun last time. So if you want to get in on those this time, make sure you're a part of the Discord. You can see those events there. You can put in, or you can react with what scheduling would work for you, so you can be a part of them. Okay. What do I have here? We talked about that. For BAP, I found healing to left click and weapons to right click helpful. For some people, that helps. That would be more like what you would get out of Moira, for example. So if you played a lot of Moira, or I suppose even a lot of Mercy, never really bothered me. But yeah, I could see that absolutely being helpful for some people. We talked about that. So Temporal suggests getting the rest of your team to get a VOD so he can tell them all he didn't like the plan. Yes, blah, I do. I do recommend bringing more people in and doing my marketing for me and helping with the marketing. I also recommend, anyone who gets a VOD tweets out or Facebook posts out about how wonderful their VOD review was to bring more customers. I mean, because yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks for the info. Appreciate all the shared knowledge. No problem, Saint. I certainly hope it was helpful, and maybe you'll be able to tell me in a couple weeks about, hey, implemented these things, game really feels better, maybe you've climbed, all those good stuff. But yeah, when you're looking for more help, let me know. Otherwise, best of luck to you. And I think that's gonna do it. I have ESC playoffs to try to prep Northeastern for, so hopefully I'll see some of you guys watching that. If not, that's fine too. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.